قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. You are most successful if you take time to purify your spiritual self. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ. This is the superlative in Arabic. Aflah. You can say, like when we call the adhan, we say hayya ala al-falah, come to success. But if you want to say more success, the best success, a higher success, you put the alif in the front. And you say, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Most successful is the one who purifies themselves. And then he tells you what happens if you don't. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. He's ruined. The one who leaves it like it is. There's a lot of information right here. And this is the reason why our ulama, they spend a lot of time explaining to us how to purify the self. I believe it's one of the sciences that has been lost. When you go and you talk to Muslims about ihsan, you talk to Muslims about tazkiyah, you talk to Muslims about, mathara al-qulub, they don't know what you're talking about. And so if you want to know why people in our ranks, they have bad adab, they don't know how to act, they can't overcome colorism, racism, classism, and all the other isms, just look at what has been neglected. Look at the science of ihsan, and you'll understand why. It's been lost. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling us to in Ramadan. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Perhaps, if you fast correctly, you will reach that state of people who actually have taqwa. The very first principle, I'm going to go over a lot of information. So you have taqwa. This is the general. It's very broad, very general. Has many categories. But the very first principle of taqwa, if you're going to arrive at taqwa, the first step, tazkiyah. You have to purify. Now, what is the first step of purification? When a person says, I need to get myself together, and I really, really have to clean up spiritually, what's the first step? Tawbah. Tawbah. But you are not making tawbah for a specific thing. You are making tawbah to the ghafla of your life. You're saying, Ya Allah, inni dhalamtu nasfi dhulmin kathiran. I have oppressed myself with a great wrong. وَلَا يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. And there's no one that can forgive this wrong that I have done to myself except you. فَاغْفِرْ لِي. So forgive me. مَغْفِرَةً مِنْ إِنْدِكَ وَارْحَمْنِي. A great forgiveness from yourself and have mercy. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. You are Ghafoor, you are Rahim. You are the one who always pardons, and you are the one who is compassionate. Alright? The very first step of tazkiyah is tawbah. And it just so happens that this is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we are supposed to get out of Ramadan. This is what you're supposed to get out of Ramadan. So we have in the hadith, in the Mustadrak of Imam Hakim, and one of the hadith collections of Imam al-Bayhaqi, rahimahullah, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he entered into the masjid and he told his companions to come close to the minbar. And he began to ascend the minbar. And when he stepped on the first step, they heard him say, Ameen. And then he climbed to the second step, and they heard him say, Ameen. And when he climbed to the third step, they heard him say, Ameen. And then he gave the dars. He gave the khutbah. When he was finished and he came down and he was with his companions, they say, Ya Rasulullah, we saw you do something that we never saw you do before. And he said, yes. As soon as I took the first step up to the minbar, Jibril alayhi salam, he appeared before me. And he said, destruction is upon the person who finds the month of Ramadan and he lets it pass without gaining forgiveness. Haram alayna. That the month, it would be a shame on us that the month of Ramadan comes and we don't do those things that attracts the mercy of Allah, that attracts the forgiveness of Allah. And this is so heinous that Jibril alayhi salam is saying, this person is destroyed. Destruction upon this person. He finds Ramadan. This is the month of mercy. This is the month of forgiveness. But because of their bad adab with Allah, because of their being entrenched in their habits and not being able to overcome themselves, they are not able to attract the forgiveness of Allah. So Rasulullah ﷺ is telling us that this is one of the goals of Ramadan. This is what can be understood from this hadith. This is one of the goals of Ramadan. That you spend time in this month doing what? Making tawbah, which is the first step of tazkiyah, of spiritual purification. Making tawbah. Tubu ila Allah. Turn back to Allah.